class, right?
Yes, please. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Apologize for the few minutes delay. Want to make sure we had the right camera setting. I have a little story for you as we come on. So let me know you're here. If you're here joining me live, please say hello. Let me know how you're feeling. Really, how are you feeling? So yesterday we opened up day 3, and I wanted to make a little announcement. I want to send an email about this as well, because I've been thinking about the energy here on the lives, the reason that we're doing the lives, and also respecting the intention around A Course in Miracles that you activate only one lesson a day. It's not meant to be like, oh, there's, Elegant Femmes on day 5. I'm on day 1. I'm going to catch up and do all 5 lessons in one day so I can be on the live. That's not congruent. And also for me, as I was thinking about it, I don't also feel congruent with, oh, well, I'm on a different day. So, that means I can't be live for the next 363 days or whatever it is. That's not it either. So what I'd like to invite you to consider, what I'd like to propose, and you can see how it feels for yourself, that you are more than welcome to join us for any day live, regardless of what day you personally are on inside of A Course in Miracles. And be with us through the live, be in the live energy, share where you are, all of that kind of good stuff. And then when we get to the lesson part, you can just either leave, which you don't have to do that at all. You stay and you just listen. And then you don't do the exercise later on to activate that day. You stay where you are in your own flow. Does that make sense? That's my proposal. And I think I feel really good about that. So again, follow your own inner knowing. Always, always. All right, I have a little story for you. The hair's kind of vibing. I didn't touch it. No, honestly, this is a story. Can you give me my straw? Please, Dave's getting me my iced coffee. I got a story. All right, let's say good morning. Lauren, good morning, good morning. Kaya, good morning. Lily, good morning. Julie, bonjour, bonjour. Hi, Anne. Buongiorno. Buongiorno, Karen. Buongiorno. ¿Cómo estai? Good afternoon. Susanna. It's Susanna, right? Lori, bonjour, bonjour. All right, let me know how that feels, because it feels really good to me. All right, I want to start with intention, and then I have a little story for you. As we move into today, straighten out all the jewels. This necklace was a special gift from my husband of 23 years today. Happy anniversary, Dave Marino. He's right here. Happy anniversary, baby. I love you. I love you. I love you. We haven't really seen each other much this morning yet, so this is the first time I'm actually saying happy anniversary. I got up at the sunrise and he got up later. All right. So, intention as we feel into today. Honoring what's ever present for you and opening up for a consideration. What would it be like for you today to gift yourself permission to ride on the frequency of happiness? See if your ego goes into, yeah, I'd love to, but you see, here's the thing. I got this going on and this going on and this going on and this going on. And I'd love to be happy today, Tara, but I can't. Maybe tomorrow. See if you can breathe above and beyond any resistance, any voice inside that tells you you'd love to, but this person's doing this is this, the bills are this, happy. If you watched our Let Yourself Be Happy video, happy, happy, happy. What happens inside? Today, I gift myself permission to reside in the frequency of happiness, no matter what. Father, Mother, God, as we move forward in the opening of today, we ask for guidance, the reflection, the recognition, and the remembering of grace, of beauty, of abundance, of love, and of happiness. May only that which is in accordance with the highest good be present, and may we all leave this time together bubbling over with joy, with gratitude and happiness. This or something even better for the highest good of all concerned. Amen. 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 All right. So thank you, Lori. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have some stories for you about how we met? I'm not going to go into it today. That's another place, but I do have a story for you. So I have been getting up every day with the sunrise since we started our intro inside of this space. It feels really beautiful. I love the sunrise. Just kind of asterisk side note for yourself. If you're ever feeling out of alignment, if you're feeling in any way ugly, I just did the Let Yourself Be Beautiful video. We haven't shared it yet. But my feeling and my truth and my experience for myself is if I'm feeling ugly in any way, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it's because I'm out of alignment with my truth in some way. When I watch the sunrise, like that's my go-to. Like if I'm feeling out of sync, if I'm feeling like ugly in my life in some way where I'm just forgetting my truth, I go and watch the sunrise. So it's been a beautiful kind of ritual for me every day as I come into this space with all of you with my intention to be that essence of beauty inside of this space and everywhere. So I'm heading down there and I'm seeing that it's kind of cloudy. It's pretty cloudy. There's some dark gray kind of stormy clouds. And I get on, I'm almost considering not taking the bike too. The beach is 3-minute walk from our house. It's like right there. But the bike, a little quicker. So I put my stuff in the basket and I go down on the bike and I'm watching the clouds and I'm like, let me check the weather app. So I check the weather app and it's like 25% rain at 4 p.m. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Looking at the clouds, dark clouds, but the weather app says I'm good until 4 p.m. and it's only 25%. So I'm sitting on the beach, gorgeous this morning. Couldn't see the sun because of the clouds, but the colors and so beautiful. So I'm down there for like 20 minutes and the clouds are rolling, the wind's kind of blowing, the clouds are moving. It's getting a little darker, and I'm sitting there going, but the weather app said I have till 4 p.m. Meditating, little drop of rain, another little drop. Inside, it's probably going to rain. No. The weather app said 4 p.m. A little heavier. I have my Yankees baseball cap on. If you have ever been in a monsoon in the Outer Banks, or Lori, I know you're in Georgia, I think, in the South, a monsoon. It is like a downpour that you have never experienced. It starts pouring. I start laughing at myself, watching myself, and feel into this for yourself, right? I'm watching myself and I'm starting to laugh like, okay, it is pouring. I don't give a damn what the weather app said. Tara, do you see what's happening? Are you listening? And I just start laughing and I'm walking up on the beach and it's pouring and I'm soaked and I have not laughed that hard and gotten that soaked in a rainstorm in I don't know how long. So I was walking up the stairs and I thought, I'm sharing this with my girls today because this is so perfect. The part of us that ignores our inner knowing, that ignores our truth, and that, ignores our intuition, and we look at whatever it says on paper, right? So I want you to feel into, I'm just going to invite you to feel into perhaps a time in your life, maybe right now, where your intuition's like, I feel this. And whatever it says on paper or the weather app or whatever the loved ones close to you are saying, and you're like, listen. Are you listening? Are you listening to your intuition? Our indie femme type is the femme type that activates and supports us in increasing our intuition and our capacity to receive. And this is something I'm really going to invite you to pay attention to as we deepen from this point forward. Are you listening? Are you listening internally, or are you allowing some external force, whatever it might be, tell you, dictate to you? And are you watching yourself go, gosh, it looks like this, but right, I'm saying this, it looks like this on paper. Actually, when some of you have heard this story. So when I was called to move to France, we lived there for 7 years, for those of you that are brand new to Elegant Femme. We lived there for 7 years. It had been my dream since I was a little girl. And we were living in Santa Monica, California, in this little 2-bedroom apartment. I had sold my wedding ring to start Elegant Femme. We had our 2 young boys that were sharing a bedroom, bunk beds. We had 1 bathroom and just 2 bedrooms. The laundry room was a shared laundry room outside. The neighbors smoked pot and it came through like the little outlet. Like, this is seriously our story in starting Elegant Femme. Dave and I used to set up the living room. Well, this living room set up like this too. It's just a little bit bigger, but we used to set up the living room in Santa Monica and be like, okay, Google started in a basement. We've got this. And we would vision every day. And anyway, we decided to put all of our stuff in storage, go to France for the summer. And I was like, I want to stay. When I told my mentor at the time, I want to move to France, she said, you're crazy. This is a really, really bad idea. You're going to be making money in dollars, living in euros. Your clients are in the States. Most of them are in California. That's a 9-hour, like all these logical reasons, right? On paper, it was like, no, this is not a good idea. And my intuition was like, oh, my desires, my dreams, my longing, my calling, my experience, like my heart is like, I want to be in France. We did it. We moved to France and Elegant Femme grew by 500% that first year. Listen to your indie ladies. All right, that's my story. That's my story for today. All right, how are we doing in the chat? Sunrise and sunset prayer are called Angelus. Let's see. In some Christian traditions, there's a special angelic presence at these times of day. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so pretty. Tried to start in time. Don't worry, time is just relative. You're here when you're here, when you're here. I'm here when I'm here. We're here. It's perfect. Timeless. Lori, I've been caught in so many downpours walking my dog because the weather said it wouldn't rain till later. Everything is really a mess, so I'm really unsettled and worried. Okay, just continue to breathe into what we're saying. I hear you. Elisa, you're here, and I love that you're sharing vulnerably where you all are. That's okay. Wherever you are is okay. Us feeling like we need to change where we are, who we are, what it is we're experiencing in order to is what really takes us out of our power. The mind that says, look, I'm feeling this way. I don't want to be feeling this way. I should be feeling that way. I need to feel that way in order to receive what I want. We bypass the potency of like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing. Am I going to allow it? We talked yesterday about actually receiving A Course in Miracles, not forcing it, not making it happen, the allowing of it. The allowing energy is the New Yorker Femme type inside of Elegant Femme. The allowing of the unfolding. So real quick, before we move into today, is this your first time joining us live? If so, let me know. Have you been? Are you like, no, babe, this is day 4? And it's not like a comparison. It's just honoring where you are and me seeing how things are going. Is it your first time joining us live? Is it your day 4? Where are you inside of yourself? Is the flow supporting you? Are you feeling like, I know that when we moved into day 1, right? On the morning of day 2, some of you were like, oh, this was not easy. I don't like this. I'm not sure. I'm having lots of stuff come up. And by the end of that call, many of you were saying, okay, I kind of get it. At least there's a sliver of opening. And look, it's not like we're forcing any kind of sliver of opening. You may be experiencing more resistance today than you did on day 1. It's all okay. It's all okay. All right, just let me know where you might be. And we're going to move into day 4, and I will share with you a couple of things. Day 4's text is a little bit longer. So I'm going to take some time reading through it. And as a reminder, the course is very clear about, look, you might not understand this. You might not believe it. You might have downright resistance to the lessons. The invitation is to move through them anyway. So the verbiage inside of A Course in Miracles, as I shared inside of the introduction, this is something to mention. As we move through the days together, if you're in a space where you're like, oh, like I'm wanting a little bit more of this, but I'm feeling some resistance, you may choose to go back through the introduction. The things I shared in the introduction may have more meaning for you and a deeper kind of resonance with you as you go through the lessons themselves. So that might be something that you choose to review. So inside of the introduction, I shared with you that the Course in Miracles was channeled by a woman named Helen, and it's through the voice of Jesus Christ. Again, as I shared on day one, depending on what your experience is with religion, with the church, with all of this, we all can have many, many, many reactions to that. My invitation and what supported me in moving through the course was seeing that as Christ energy, as light energy, not any kind of attachment to a person and an embodiment, a specific like religious context. And that really, really supported me. And also the verbiage is kind of old world type verbiage. So our minds can go into, wait a minute, what is it saying? I don't understand, and get really stuck there. So my intention today is to move through the reading of it, support with some facilitation, but also invite you to let go of that squeezing of like, I don't get it, and really feel the receiving. So as we open up lesson 4, see if you can position yourself inside of yourself to receive. What does that mean? What does that look like? How, Tara? How do I position myself to receive? Yesterday, I shared the sensual breath. That is one of the ways I position myself to receive. So if you missed that yesterday, please feel free to go back there and do that. Those of you that were here, how did the sensual breath serve you? I do it all the time, all day long. That's something that positions me in a sense of receiving. Also, physically, like leaning back, heart open, because we don't recognize energetically when we're in that space separate from love, when we're in that space, which the Course says it's either love or fear, there's nothing else. You're choosing love, you're choosing fear. When we're in that space of illusion that there's anything less than love, we have a tendency to either, and I'm going to lean forward because I'm into this with you, but like we protect, we do this physically, or even energetically, we're like, I don't know, I'm in a space of protection. So just leaning back and feeling your heart open. And when we look at the capacity to receive, the ego goes into receive what? Okay, I'm open to receiving, but what does that mean? What am I going to receive? Right? It goes into that protection of, I don't know. I'll be open to receiving, but what exactly are you going to give me? What does this mean? Do I want it? I'm not sure if I want it. So if you can just even for a moment together, feel into that space above and beyond any kind of fear of receiving and just consider, I'm open to receiving. See how that feels in your body. I am open to receiving. All right. Day 4, feeling it, feeling open, stepping into taking more personal ownership. This flow is so supporting me. This is so good. I'm on day 4. I don't feel resistance, working with ACIM for the first time ever. Woohoo! Congratulations. Same, feeling more open. Day 4, feeling the flow. Oh, my gosh. Chicago Pride 10 a.m. Then end of the parade, sheets of rain, every place on the route closed. Okay. All right, ladies, are we open to receiving? Can we get a wee? Can you feel this in your body? And again, just like we said, on one of the days, I don't remember, like, are we open to miracles? I am open to miracles. And if inside your authenticity, you're like, I may be open to miracles. So feel this in your body as we open day 4. I am open to receiving. And if you're like, just I may be open to receiving. What if I allow myself to be open to receiving? Okay, feel that inside. Oui, see all the things. All right, ladies, day 4. Are we ready? Okay. I feel like PBS special sometimes. I'm like, this is our story. Class, this is our story for today. What was that weird show with the woman in a chair? But she was all little and she would read. What was that? I don't know. I it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Do you know what I'm talking about? That is not the visual I'm going for, by the way. I don't feel like that. I feel like a much more femme version of that, but oh, we had a Michelle DM'd me on Instagram and said, how about we go with, if you are touched or moved by what we're sharing today, elegantly tap that like button. I like it, Michelle. I like it. Very good. Okay, here we are. Lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. So this theme that we opened up on day 1, this thing doesn't mean anything. I don't understand what this thing means, right? This kind of unraveling of the place inside that has attached a confinement or a limitation to what things mean. The tripod, the this, the that. Today, we're moving beyond the things you see as not meaning anything and moving into these thoughts do not mean anything. Spicy, spicy. The Course says in the very beginning, this is mind training. We are unraveling the place inside that has perceived limitation around anything. We all know how powerful our thoughts are, right? We know it. And at the same time, we rarely allow true thoughts. So just consider this for today. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. In these practice periods, begin with noting the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts that you think are bad. So again, with every exercise, we've seen this, the invitation to not select certain things for the exercise. So closing your eyes, and again, not to do this now. What I have decided since we've opened this together is I will move through the exercise with you. I will share with you my thoughts on it. And as soon as we are complete, my invitation for you is to then spend that time and have that intimate experience with the exercise. That's why I feel really, really congruent with everybody joining us live that's called, regardless of what day you're on, okay? So again, you will be closing your eyes for about a minute and letting the thoughts come forward, any of them, not selecting, oh, that thought's okay, that thought's not okay. I can use this thought for the exercise, but this one's good. So I don't want to say this thought doesn't mean anything because this is a good thought and I like the good thought. It's saying any thought that comes forward, not to select it as good or bad. You will find if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, that they represent such a mixture that in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. That is why they do not mean anything. So again, your mind might go, See if you can just release. Breathe. and the bridge of, okay, these thoughts don't mean anything. And the exercise for today, the opportunity today, is for me to pause in my life, to allow myself to be aware of my thoughts for about a minute. And then after the minute, no matter what thought it is, to be able to say, these thoughts don't mean anything. Okay? In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad thoughts. Now, it just said there are no good thoughts or bad thoughts, which is why it has it in quotes, because the Course is going to meet us where we are. And as you deepen, you'll feel this unraveling of the language changing. However, in the beginning, and the Course is very clear about this, and it says the Holy Spirit, which we'll talk about that language later, just consider the essence of the Course, the essence of life is here to meet you where you are, so that communication can take place. So at this point in the unraveling, our mind still gravitates towards this is good, this is bad. So it's going to utilize those kind of contexts, those touch points to support the unraveling. Okay? None of them, meaning the thoughts, represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. So recognizing that there's a surface level conversation taking place inside of our mind that is very busy with good, bad, a melange of everything. And the Course is saying underneath that, there are other thoughts. So the opportunity for today is to be a witness to the surface level of thoughts, watching them bounce back and forth, whatever they may be, the perceiving, the illusion that it's good or bad or right or wrong, just watching them for about a minute and then saying, these thoughts do not mean anything. Okay? All right, again, none of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones are but shadows of what lies behind. And shadows make sight difficult. Remember we spoke about on day one, when it says this thing I'm seeing, nothing I see means anything. And we're like, yeah, I see it, means something. That the Course is moving us beyond the physical sight that we see and into the depth of vision. So this is really beautiful. The good ones, meaning the good thoughts, are but shadows of what lies beyond. And shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You don't want either. This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps towards the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside of you. So good. And the meaningful within you. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize what is the same and what is different. And using your thoughts for application of the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, this thought about blank, whatever the thought is, does not mean anything. So this thought about how much money I have doesn't mean anything. This thought about my mom doesn't mean anything. This thought about my health doesn't mean anything. Like whatever is surfacing in that time. It is like the things I see in this room, on this street, and so on. Okay, so again, remembering day one of this lamp doesn't mean anything. That we're seeing it. The lamp doesn't mean anything. I'm seeing it with my physical eyes. Now we're going into these thoughts don't mean anything. The thought I have about this situation or this person or this worry or this whatever it might be. It doesn't need to be just bad, right? Any thought I have doesn't mean anything. It's like the lamp I see in this room. It doesn't mean anything. Okay? Okay. You can also use the idea for a particular thought that you do recognize as harmful. This is really beautiful. I've really enjoyed this part of the process myself. This practice is useful, but it is not a substitute for more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. So if you do find something that's like causing you anxiety, causing you upset, if there's something in your life right now that has like an edge to it, utilize this practice of this thought about blank does not mean anything. However, what it's saying is don't just do that. Follow the exercise of the randomness of the thoughts that come forward as part of the practice for today. Okay. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. This is really important. The course is very, very specific about the exercises and the time frames. We're talking 1 minute. 1 minute in the AM and 1 minute in the PM, the bookends of this. So for me, doing this together with you, and then at the end of the day, doing a review. Some people have shared with me, I'm watching the lives twice because I want to go through it in that way. Not necessary. You can just do the minute, whatever you want, of course. If you love it, you love it. It's there for you. You can also do the minute just on your own in bed. The course does say, you are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. So do not examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. I gotta be transparent with you. The first time that I went through that, I was like, what? This feels very condescending. I am not too inexperienced. Yes, you are. Okay, so if anything like that triggers you in the course, just recognize it really is written with such love. And yet, depending on what our lens is and what it is we're moving through inside, we can receive it in a very triggering way. If that occurs, I just encourage you to breathe through it and to lean back in. Further, since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult. Some of you mentioned this in the earlier exercises, like I'm okay with seeing that chair as not meaning anything, but if I look at the body of my loved one, like, and this is okay, this is a part of it. Like the course recognizes this, since we still see through the lens of perception and judgment, and the limitation is there with what we're seeing with our physical eyes or with our thoughts, it can be challenging at first. That's okay. You're still invited to move through it. Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later. Okay, so I said AM and PM, and you're going to see some exercises, and especially as we deepen inside of the course, are going to say, well, let's do this one a little bit more often. So you get to move through and honor your internal voice and your internal knowing. I really encourage you to go all in. The AM minute, the PM minute, and then I do encourage you to consider 2 other times during the day where you move through the exercise. So we're talking 4 minutes of your time. Okay, so consider, how is this feeling for everyone? I know we went a little longer today, and again, I'm not going to be attached to the time. I'm here for you. I'm here to move through this with you, and it's one of the most beautiful parts of my day. So this is a big lesson. This is a big turning point. I said to you all yesterday, when you get to day 3, there really is a leaping off point of I'm here for this. And so the course is going to meet you in that space. So congratulations to every single one of you, really, truly. So I want to read some of the comments before we go. All right. Okay, how is this feeling? How is this feeling? Again, if you are watching the replay, please put #replay. Let me know you're here. Feel into the communication of what we're sharing today. Feel free to participate in the chat. Leave your comments. Elegantly tap that like button. You can also share this. YouTube makes it really, really easy to share. There's just a share button. If you're like, okay, I would really like to share this energy. Imagine if women around the world felt into this space. So if that feels true to you, I would love for you to share it, only if it feels called and feels true. Have been trying to stay open to receiving, to letting people help, asking for help. Beautiful. So neutralizing. I needed to hear this today, a message from the guides. Brings the mind into the present moment. Love it. Feeling that 4 minutes a day is sufficient. This is interesting. This is how I'm receiving what you're saying, Lauren. Sometimes the mind goes into, wait a minute, if I'm really going to change my entire life, 4 minutes a day is too easy. That's not okay. I need to be spending 82 hours a day. And since that's impossible, I will not spend any time. Let the 4 minutes a day be enough. Let it be enough. Detach from any part of you inside that says that's too easy, that's not enough. That then takes us into the other extreme of like, that's too easy, so I'm not going to do it. We are funny. We are funny as humans. That's too easy. I'm not going to do it. That came too easily. Let me complicate it. Let me fuck it up somehow. Let me make it really, 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 really hard, because if it's really hard, then I'm justified to receive it. And then I can tell everybody, I worked so hard. This was so hard. I sacrificed. The Course is very clear that sacrifice is not a means to love. So good. I'm so, so grateful and so excited. Like, I can't believe we're on lesson 4. And I also can't believe we're going to do all 365 days. And I know, I'm going to plant this right now. I know. I had this like leap yesterday in time of imagining us all together on that final activation of the lesson. And the amount of emotion and joy and gratitude and just all the yumminess. Like, I'm so grateful for all of it. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No badge of honor needed. 100%. Consciousness is fun. All right. Happy girls. Happy girls, happy girls. I love you. Have a gorgeous rest of your day. Remember that we have the Chic 365 guide to support you in the processing of each activation and each lesson. If that feels good to you, it's there for you. There is no obligation ever around anything. Okay, remember that for yourself. Happiness, ease, grace. Oh my. All right, have a beautiful rest of your day. I love you. I will see you tomorrow. It's Frenchy Friday inside of Elegant Femme. So I actually think I have a surprise I'm going to be sharing with you tomorrow. I think so. We'll see how that goes. 23 years today. Oh, I'm all sorts of lucky. Thanks, babe. I love you. 23 years ago, Dave and I got married. You ready for this? At the Justice of the Peace. We found out that we were pregnant with our firstborn son, Mason, 4 or 5, maybe 3 to 5 days prior to us getting married. It was we were like, got to get on the insurance, right? I needed to get on the health insurance. We were like, okay, we're pregnant. We're going to get married anyway. Let's just get married, make sure everything's good to go with the health insurance. And then after Mason's born, we will have a big, beautiful wedding. That was the plan. That was the plan. So we got married at the Justice of the Peace. I can still remember Dave met me there after work, or maybe it could have possibly even been on a lunch break. I don't remember. We don't even have a picture. We went to the Justice of the Peace, like the courthouse, the Arizona courthouse, and we didn't know we needed witnesses. So was it 2 guys? I don't remember, but 2 people in Hawaiian shirts who had just gotten married that were about to leave, because the judge is like, do you have your witnesses? And we were like, oh, oops. We're 22 years old, right? Like, oh, no, we were not 22. We were 24 years old. Wait, what? We need witnesses? And we're like, hey, hi guys. I know you just got married. Would you mind? Would you mind hanging out for a couple of minutes and just doing us the honors? So that's how we got married. That's literally how we got married. And if you haven't heard our story, which I'm not going to go fully into now, as life would have it, our son Mason passed away in my arms when he was a week old. And we never had a wedding. Dave and I have never had a wedding. And yet, I believe we have had a honeymoon, many of them around the world. We've been around the world together with our boys. I wouldn't have had it any other way. All of it, by the way, I wouldn't have had it any other way. So yes, 23 years ago today, little Tara and little Dave saying yes in a courthouse in Phoenix, Arizona. Best decision I've ever made in my entire life. Talking about, let's do a full circle moment back to the rainstorm and the weather app this morning. Okay, on paper, this looked ludicrous, Looney Tunes. Dave and I met in a bar. Okay, let's resolve. I want to just like give a little asterisk here for my ego. I was like so like attached to being the good girl. I met him in a bar. What is happening? What is happening? This is not going to go good, right? Like my ego, like, this is crazy. This is not you. This is not your vibe. This is not your identity. Like, what are you talking about? Met in a bar, fell in love in record time, got transferred to Arizona, got pregnant before we got married at the Justice of the Peace, lose our firstborn son, right? On paper, are you kidding me? Like, if you were going to write, like, okay, these are all the reasons probably this isn't going to work out, I think we had all of them, right? The whole paper, the logic, the weather app. Nope. Our intuition, our inner knowing, our commitment, our devotion was a full fuck yes. And here we are, 23 years later. All right, ladies, that's it for the romantic interlude unfolding. Didn't know we were going to talk about that today. Maybe we will make it a part 2 and splice this. I don't know, but there we are. Same. So some of you had this experience. We did a marriage great session. Oh, Dave, it was very romantic with the older couple who didn't know as our witnesses. He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Oh, she had a flowery dress. I didn't remember that. Going on 52 years. Congratulations. That's amazing. That is amazing. Yes, very true, Shannon. For women who are so trained to judge ourselves for everything, that observing without judgment of thought is really a learned skill. Yes. I will say this again and again and again. Stop making yourself wrong for anything. Right? We need to make an EF wedding. Imagine. Okay, ladies. Yes. What a great day. I love you all. Those of you that are inside Dehors with us, we do have our special call or inside the club. And a part of the Dehors portion, we have our group call in about an hour. So maybe I will see some of you there. I love you. Have a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow, which will be the completion of our very first week together. Thank you for being here. It means so much, not just to me personally, but really to the world. When we say yes to the remembering of who we are, when we embody our truth, when we shine our light, when we reside in the truth of happiness, we affect the entire consciousness. So thank you. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.